Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Saturn conjunct one's natal north node. Now, when you have transits that involve Saturn, they can be about restrictions, limitations, a structure, discipline, responsibility, laborious work, and effort. When you have transit Saturn conjunct one's natal north node, well, this may manifest in restrictions, limitations, gaining structure, discipline, responsibility, laborious work in one's future, their destiny, their mission. It might be you might run into some roadblocks that might be tied in with your future or delays, but at the same time, it may give more consistency in these matters and one's destiny as well. This could be maybe perhaps it might be hard work in trying to create uh, one's own destiny, and it can be. I mean, if it's in Aquarius, say, it could be something with innovation, computers, or astronomy, or doing something altruistic. And also, I mean, the North Node, I mean, can be connected with the destiny, what may be preordained, where you feel you might where you may be just destined to go with your life. And also the North Node is connected with the development of the positive attributes connected with the placement. I mean, if this is in Virgo, say, it could be being very punctilious with details, analytical, intellectual, being able to dissect something and things in general, being really good at analysis. If you have it, say, in Virgo in the third house in your natal chart, it could be about laborious efforts, maybe diagnosing a vehicle, and actually developing, those qualities that are associated with the sign and placement as you're doing so. And also, though, keep in mind the North Node could also be about issues one may have to confront or address. So, if there's something, sometimes it could be a health-related issue. I mean, if you have this in the first or the sixth house, it might be something, it could be something health-related, depending on the sign that it's in. If it's in the zodiac sign Cancer, it could be something with the breast or the chest or the stomach area. It might be some issues with food. If it's in Gemini, it could be something with the lungs, the nerves, or the arms, breathing issues. If you've been procrastinating on this, it could be something that you may have to take responsibility for at this time. And it's also what we're aspiring to be as well, and what we're actually want to become. And again, going back to the zodiac sign Gemini, it could be connected with a lot of hard work and just being more diversified, versatile. Say if you have this in the ninth house in your natal chart and it's in Gemini, it could be perhaps developing, learning to have more of a versatile or diversified philosophical outlook. It could be some kind of Gemini higher education course that you may be wanting to go after at this time, and it might be just a lot of concentration in this at this time. Saturn can be connected with concentration, and it's about what we're moving toward at this time. And it can be where you might, going back to the restrictions and roadblocks, there might be more difficulties in doing so, but remember that Saturn is also about structure and discipline. So it could manifest in gaining structure and discipline. And this is why when you're talking about conjunctions in astrology, they are neutral. They can be positive, they can be adverse. A lot of it can be predicated and dependent on the aspects that this makes to other points in your chart, is how whether you're dealing with it in more negative fashion or whether it might be more positive actually. Now, Another one way this can manifest and pan out, another way I should say, it could be that a father or an older person, it could be a grandparent, even a mentor, it may be more prominent in the direction that you're going toward at this time. Let's say this falls in Aquarius in your 10th house as an example. It could be through perhaps selflessness, expressing altruism, maybe in one's career, and might be gaining notoriety by through that expression, and going away from, which would be the South Node in Leo in the 4th house, going away from perhaps showing dominance or shining in home related matters. That could be one way that can manifest and pan out. It could also be another thing about this transit. Again, it could be about laborious, arduous efforts in the development of the positive attributes that would be connected with the sign and house placement. Now, say if you're having this transit in Pisces in your 11th house as an example, it could be about just simply expressing forgiveness, overlooking the transgressions, which is Pisces, and of friends and acquaintances, which is the 11th house, and or it could be the simply taking responsibility for maybe the pursuit of metaphysical aspirations, which can include astrology. I have this placement in my chart and it's intercepted, so for me it might have been more of a delay or a little bit of a blockage in me doing so. And it's, of course, when you're moving toward the North Node placement, you're going away from the South Node placement. In my example would be the South Node in Virgo in the 5th house, perhaps being overly judgmental or critical, or might be actually proficient in overly judgmental or critical in people that maybe you love, you care about, romantic people that are involved with you romantically. Could be children. I don't have any children, but perhaps maybe other people's children. Uh, but anyway, it could also be about taking responsibility toward your future. Let's say, as another example, if you have this in Virgo in the 8th house in your natal chart, it could be about the pursuit of analytical psychology or astrology. Um, it can be expressing, being able to analyze things of a forensic nature. Um, And another thing too, now in remote cases, remote isolated cases, this could also manifest in Saturn related issues that one may have to confront or address. In some cases, if you're an older person, like over 60 or older, it could be about old age. It may be something with chronic debilitations. Uh, if it's in Virgo as an example, it could be something, maybe with the spleen or intestinal issues or the pancreas. Uh, Another thing could be is that this could also be maybe dealing with despondency in some isolated cases, maybe even something it could be depression or a depressing or limiting situation that maybe it's time when you feel you have to deal with it. Could even be some issues with an authority figure. It could be a supervisor, superior. It could even be the father in some cases. Now, also, too, this is where Saturn can also be associated with the career. So it might be a time or maybe something career related comes your way and is part of your destiny, which of course could manifest in transitioning out of one career and into another. If this is in Sagittarius, say, it could be some career with the law or publishing. It could be something that involves, something travel related, working in a travel agency, maybe a pilot where you're traveling abroad, dealing with foreigners. It could be something with translation. And remember that Saturn is also connected with fear and apprehension. This could be some cases about the fear and apprehension of moving forward, because North Node is, of course, about what we're doing in terms of forward progress. And say, for example, if this falls in Taurus in your 8th house in your natal chart, perhaps it could be about having maybe a peaceful and stable, even relaxed, which is Taurus, a shared resources situation, which is the 8th house, and in turn you could be going away from perhaps being given that the south, in that example, the south node would be in Scorpio in the 2nd house, going away from some kind of obsessive or fixated, which is Scorpio, over your own resources, possessions, and money. So those are some ways that this transit could manifest and pan out. It could be about just having to come to terms with Saturn-related things, again, such as matters with the father in some cases. It could be an authority figure, maybe with some limitation or restriction or inhibition at this time. It could be about responsibility in the 2nd house. It could be some responsibility toward a monetary situation, toward generating your own income, as an example. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.